Hello, this is Albert, and today I'm going to discuss a game I just did, which is against damodar123. And in this game, I successfully managed to checkmate this opponent. Let's just have a look. Probably the message of this game is actually focusing on your your opponent's king, and also your king's defense. And I open up with e4, followed by e5. Knight f3, trying to attack e5. Knight goes to c6, and then c4, followed by d6. Knight goes to c3. Knight goes to f6. b3, trying to fianchetto my bishop for the main diagonal of black squares. Bishop goes to g4. Bishop is fianchettoed at b2. Bishop goes to e7, trying to protect the knight, but I think it's it's pretty good move. Queen goes to c2, and it's actually a mistake here. But then black also made mistake. Bishop goes to h5, retreating, but not sure why. Knight goes to d5. Bishop goes to g6. I just take it using my knight check. Bishop goes to f6 check, and as you can see here, the diagonal is occupied by the bishop in the black square, so it's a pretty challenging game. Bishop goes to d3, trying to make up spaces for the rook to be connected later on. Castling king side, and I castle queen side. Now bishop goes to h5, trying to pin my knight, and there will be pin of the rook, and I just protect it using my bishop goes to e2. Knight goes to d4, which is I believe a blunder, because I can just easily win a pawn here, maybe. Oh no, I didn't win a pawn, but I just close this thing. c5. Knight goes to e1, trying to exchange the bishop. Bishop exchange. Queen retake. Queen goes to a5. Knight goes to f3. Queen goes to c3 check. It's not really harmful at all. Just protect it with my queen. And h4. Just trying to march up to the king's defense. b5, trying to exchange pawn here. Maybe it's not a bad idea. C takes b5. Queen takes b5. Queen c4, trying to exchange the queen. The queen is exchanged, and d takes c4. So as you can see, it's actually recommended to sort of take using b here from the engine, but I believe it is much nicer to have a solid pawn structure like this, like ABC pawns. I learned it from Magnus Carlsen, by the way. So yeah, maybe he's right. I was just trying this tactic. Rook at f, go to e8, trying to attack my pawn at e4. And how do I protect it? I protect it using my rook at h goes to e1. Why do I protect using my rook at h? Because I want to avoid any pawn advances at d. So it's from d4 to d3. I want to avoid that by keeping my rook there. Rook a goes to b8. It's actually harmless, I believe, unless the pawn at a will go on marching to the column 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Yep. g4, trying to kick back the black square bishop. h6, trying to avoid this, but I just go on g5, h takes g5, and h takes g5 retake. Bishop was going forward to e5. I don't want to change my, I don't want to take it using my knight, because if I take it then the rook will take and my pawn is under fire. But as you can see here, by the exchange of the pawn at h, the h file is actually empty, and I will soon occupy this. But first I want to protect my pawn at e4, so I will do it with my king. So my king is marching up, king goes to c2, bishop goes to f4, king keeps going to d3, so the pawn is protected. Rook goes to b6, and the idea is the rook will go to a6 and will attack the pawn at a2. I sort of ignore this first because I want to develop my position, which is rook goes to h1. Now rook goes to h6, I protect it with the other rook, which is rook at a, goes to e1. Rook goes to e6, which is interesting move, because it's just really wants to try to connect the rooks in the 6th column, but then I'm not really sure why this would be a case, as the idea is actually not clear, not really, taking forward, but taking the row. It's actually taking the row, so I'm not sure why they want to connect the rook. Probably the idea was d6 go to d5, and then definitely I will not sort of mess with my pawn structure. I'll just ignore this, and probably I'll just advance my pawn or do something else. So I attack the bishop. So rook goes to h4, trying to attack the bishop. Bishop has nowhere to go. Here it has only one square to move, which is e5, and the pawn at d will not move forward because my king is there, so I will actually ignore this threat. I am doubling up my rook at h file, which is rook at a goes to h1 and f6. This is actually a blunder, because by moving the pawn to f6, the pawn at g7 is actually not protected by the bishop anymore, and I can just easily move forward. It's actually the recommended move is actually I need to move my my pawn from g5 to g6, and then after that there will be a threat of checkmate if the king does not move at all. So as you can see, I didn't do it. Actually, I should have moved the pawn from g5 to g6, and then the rook should go to h8, and then there will be a checkmate or a threat of mate in one. So didn't do it, sorry, forget. Didn't see it. I just make a check straight away, but actually the resulting result will be fantastic still. So king goes there, and then I advance my pawn, which is the wrong, oh sorry. So yeah, here I didn't advance my pawn. I have a fear that the rook will take at a1, and so what happens if okay, I was not afraid leaving my pawn at g5 to be taken by the pawn at f, because if f took g5, then I will just take the knight. I will just take it using my knight, and there will be a fork of the king and the rook, and I will be in material basically. So I'm just defending here, but actually it won't get me anywhere. So king goes to g6, probably trying to attack, but actually this is a blunder. Why is this a blunder? Because by moving back here, king is actually trapped in the middle of nowhere, and then I will continue my attack using my knight here. So yep, black took a2, which is still far away from menacing my king, the white's king. So I just continue with the attack, which is knight goes to h4 check. It has to go there, and then just move my pawn to g6 check, move away, and then another check by knight goes to f5, then goes away again, and then I took using my knight, the pawn at g7, and here comes the blunder by black. Black rook goes to e7, and actually it's a blunder because this is what I do. I am going to advance the pawn at g file, and suddenly it will become a queen soon when it comes to g8. How does black defend? Black actually should have defended by moving the pawn at f6 to f5, but then my knight blocked it, so it cannot do anything much here. Rook goes to e8, it's a mistake and I should have taken it, but I just make an intermediary move, which is a check first. King moves, and my pawn goes forward, and it's marching forward to g7. Rook takes f2, which is another intermediary move, and it's actually not focusing on the real issue here. And just g8, and then it becomes queen. Check. Rook goes to f3 check, and I just attack the rook here. So yep, he took another pawn. It's actually not really focusing on the main issue, which is defending or doing something more useful than that. So I just took it and took the knight. Took the rook at e8, and it's a mate in one. So checkmate. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.